Gentlemen, welcome to another video on the Longevity Strength Coach channel. In this video I'm going to be covering in quite a lot of detail why endurance, focus or prioritizing endurance can be one of the biggest contributors to musculoskeletal injuries. Now, if your week of training involves high volume or a mixture of high volume and high impact, then whatever discipline you are taking part in falls into the endurance category, because endurance just means volume. Now that might be skiing, mountain biking, rock climbing. If you are doing a lot of volume, you are becoming an endurance athlete. Mountain biking, Nordic skiing, ultra marathons being more of the obvious ones. My name is Paul Green. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. It's great to have you here. I'm a former British paratrooper and Special Forces support group operator. The job role itself is an extremely endurance, aerobic capacity demanding job where most of the men in these units are very well tuned with all things endurance, because the job demands them to go anywhere in the world at a moment's notice, carrying loads of kit on their back, and work for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 hours at a moderate to high intensity. The fallback from that is their bodies definitely, regularly break. In particular, their lower limbs. And I've got a lot of experience with musculoskeletal injuries in extremely demanding, endurance-based areas. Nowadays, I run the Longevity Program, which is a strength conditioning service for men over the age of 40 that take part in extreme sports. Free runners, skateboarders, rock climbers, mountain bikers, skydivers, martial artists. The plan for today is we're going to talk about one of the most common things initially, and that's the allure of endurance training. We're going to then talk about how easy it is to overlook overloading endurance training. We're going to touch on the role of strength in this equation, and then I'm going to send you on your way after we reassess your weekly training schedule so that you can increase your longevity. If that sounds like something that you would find useful, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I have many more of these educational lectures on the channel. Get your heads into them. They're absolutely quality. I absolutely love delivering them. And so far, I've heard quite good feedback. Right, the first thing, the allure of the endurance training. Now, I don't just mean running. I don't just mean doing press-ups and sit-ups for hours on end. I mean high volume activities. Nordic skiing, rock climbing, multi-pitch rock climbing. You're on the wall for about 4, 5 or 6 hours doing 20 pitches. Mountaineering, endurance. High volume, lots of steps, lots of time on the legs. Doesn't always necessarily mean running. But these disciplines are massively popular. Hundreds of millions of people enter these disciplines because they are highly accessible. They initially require quite a low level of strength to take part in. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, technique, low level of technique to start things off as well. The simplicity of them is very appealing. Usually a low cost to get involved in them. And the reason people tend to do a lot of endurance is because the amount of feedback they get from their body saying that they're improving in a very short space of time is pretty damn satisfying. For example, 2 weeks in, you feel a hell of a lot fitter than you did 2 weeks ago. Instant hormones. You're going to keep doing it. You're going to stick it out. One awesome thing about endurance, and I will either refer to endurance as endurance or I'll refer to endurance as volume. I like to call it volume because if I say endurance to you, you think running. You think Tour de France. It's not necessarily, you think Ironman. You think ultra marathons. No, it's not always the case, right? And this channel is about educating you on all your disciplines in which fall into these categories. One of the main things I really appreciate about endurance, volume, is how much it develops your mental resilience. When you have the physical capability to do something for not just hours, days on end, but your mind doesn't believe that the body can do that, there is a very unique battle that occurs. And it only occurs when you are doing this. When you're on the crag for hours, when you're skiing for miles, when you're mountain biking for miles, when you are doing a lot of volume, this starts to happen. You start to have a battle with yourself, and you have to overcome yourself to then continue on the remainder of that session, that competition, or simply ticking off another training week. Keep showing up. And when you're doing this, these are usually very time-consuming disciplines. And this gets tested when you keep showing up. So it's one reason I really, really rate endurance disciplines. I also believe this is a thing as well. When men get to about 40, 45, 50-year-old, they just accept that they're not as strong as they used to be. So then they enter disciplines that don't require a strength requirement. I'm not strong anymore, so I'm not going to do strength. I'm not going to do power. I'm not going to move fast. I'm just going to focus on something that doesn't really have that requirement of me. I'm just going to do endurance stuff, It is what it is. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. That's all I will say on that. Right. How easy is it to overload your endurance discipline or your endurance training? It's very easy when you have a feelings-based training focus. When you feel amazing after 2 days rest on a weekend and it's Monday, and you have a big breakfast and you think, oh my God, I really want to push myself today. So you do it. You feel great. You do more miles and you do a faster pace than you've ever done. And that could be mountain biking, that could be skiing, that could be running. But it's feelings based. And your feelings do this, up and down and up and down and up and down. Men, that's amateur hour. And you know that's amateur hour. Feelings based training. Some days you're going to feel bad. Does that mean you just stay in bed? If what you did with your day was as a result of your feelings, would you get out of bed? Because I wouldn't. I'm not even lying. Ineffective programming for progressive overload. What that means is starting slow, starting steady, and incrementally increasing the volume, the intensity, and the impact over the weeks to then increase the amount of stuff that you can do while trying to improve performance incrementally, nice and slowly, without any of the unnecessary risk to injury. Poor management of high and low impact. So you've got high and low volume sessions, and you've got high and low impact sessions. So your low volume would be simply maybe a tech session where you only do 45 minutes, but it's pure laser focused on a certain technique on the slopes. And a high volume session would be just going up and down and up and down and getting the serious endurance and getting the mileage in on the legs. High impact could be completely different. So high impact, you could be working turns, like really, really hard aggressive turns at speed. And your low impact could be other stuff, like speed work, where you're not really working on turns, you're working on more carving. So, you're really focused on that. So low impact, high impact. Again, low volume sessions, which is low mileage, high volume sessions, high mileage. And then you've got to also balance high and low impact. So poor management of them two is very easy to do if you do this. Obviously, I'm a longevity strength coach. A lack of strength training is usually in the mix as well with your strategy or their lack of. And to not support all of them, there's probably, or usually, inadequate nutrition to support performance and recovery. Inadequate large amounts of carbohydrates prior to these training sessions. Lack of carbohydrates after these training sessions, and a lack of protein to support the repair of the worked muscles, the regeneration and the growth of the muscles to support recovery, and then increase performance on your next training sessions, next week's training, all of that stuff. And then you've got the fats as well to support brain function. Because we are problem solvers, we need to have a switched on neural net that is firing on all cylinders. Because you have them days that your brain isn't working very well. And we need it to, because we're not just messing about. We're doing some crazy shit, and we need to do that well. So this is how easy it is. When you fall into this, all of this happens lots. And which ones do you? Drop a comment in the comments. Which ones do you fall short of out of these? So the problem, right? You've got millions, hundreds of millions of people that enter an endurance or a high volume discipline because of all of these reasons. They often overlook these. And if they get these in place, they can be doing this for decades. However, just jumping into something, putting your running shoes on, buying a set of skis, and just hitting the slopes, is that going to be effective if you don't do these? Right. The role of strength in the equation. You've got muscle strength, you've got tendon and ligament strength, you've got bone density, you've got increased capacity to absorb the volume that you're doing, and the impact, and reducing impact of the injuries, reducing avoidable injuries, and improving performance. Men, I see this all the time. When people get to about 35, 40, 45-year-old, they, for some reason, they stop this strength phenomenon, right? Anything with blood flow will improve in strength. Do your bones have blood flow? Yes. Do your muscles have blood flow? Yes. Do your tendons and ligaments have blood flow? Yes. Do they vary in the amount of blood flow that they get? Yes. Do the muscles have a lot of blood flow? Yes. Will they get stronger? Yes. Do tendons and ligaments have blood flow? Yes, they do. They can get stronger as well. Of course, it's going to take longer. Are you in a rush? Bones, same detail. All of this, trained, will increase your capacity to absorb more volume, allowing you to do the thing more frequently, the thing that you love more frequently, and absorb higher amounts of impact without getting injuries. That is enough to improve performance, because you are doing more of the thing you love, you're developing it, and you're getting better. And it's just this continuous upward spiral of development with absolutely no mentions of the word age. It's a funny little thing. So what you need to do, gentlemen, is you need to reassess your routine, your weekly routine, to increase your longevity. And I've got a few tips for you in order to do that. If your volume is split into an 80-20 format, you will be pretty much most of the way there. Now, what I mean by that is 80% of your weekly volume, whether that be climbing, mountain biking, skiing, skydiving, 80% of it is pretty easy. Technical. Could be free running, could be skateboarding. 80% of your weekly training is fairly easy. And on a scale of 1 to 5, 80% of it would be a 2 out of 5. And 20% of it would be 5 out of 5 for intensity. 2 out of 5, 5 out of 5 for your 20. 80-20 rule. And you can do this with both volume and impact. So, basically, in this scenario, you would put 20% high impact. Yeah? And the 80% would be low impact. And you can do that. 80-20. 80% low impact, 20% high impact, high intensity sessions. So for free running, you do your drops, you do your high drops, like literally twice a week or twice a fortnight. And most of your other stuff would be steady stuff. Because if you do the same high impact thing every single day, you're going to be absolutely in bits. Your body is going to be in bits. You need to be more considerate of this. So 80-20. For example, in the running world, 80% of your running mileage is easy. 20% is flat out aggression. Rock climbing, the same. 20%, you'll be on an indoor climbing wall, absolutely destroying yourself. And 80% of it will be on a crag, staying really, really technical. Moving, but like really technical, and trying your hardest to stay at that 2 out of 5 for intensity. Never increase your weekly volume by, if you can, by no more than 10% per week. That ensures that you're constantly just improving your body's ability to absorb this new capacity at a manageable rate. Incorporate strength training into the mix. Now I completely understand. You're a problem solver. You like to think. You like the adrenaline. You like the risk. You like to be scared. You like to be scared and then figure it out and overcome and all these things that are going on. And that doesn't happen when you're strength training. However, this will increase absolutely everything. The amount of sessions that you can do, the amount of sessions that you can do without injury, the amount of the reduction of layoffs, the increase of performance because you can do more and it has less of an effect on the body, increased recovery. Anyway, fucking hell. Are you really that stupid to be not doing this? Really? Please, if you have the courage to admit in the comments below why you do not do this, and you are an extreme sports participant or an adventure sports participant, hobbyist or athlete, and you are not doing this, but you still do your weekly volume, improving your techniques, developing certain areas of your discipline, please tell me why and how are you getting on with that. Strength sessions. Full body sessions work really well when you are using them to support the longevity of your discipline. 1 session a week would be full body. If you could do 2 sessions per week, they would both be full body. Now, if you can do 3 sessions per week, you would probably go to your weaker area and double up on that. For example, you would go, if you've got like sore knees or poor mobility, poor strength in your legs, you may go lower body, upper body, lower body. So then you get your lower body in twice and then upper body in once. Does that make sense? And on these sessions, you will be working your joints through a full range of motion at a high intensity and getting your joints stronger because they will still get stronger. use them or lose them. Concluding thoughts, too many men are all in on one discipline and they are so hyper-focused on that one discipline, they just lose the ability to look left and right and zoom out. Okay, what else needs doing? What else needs doing to keep me on this? I call this greed, right? Greed, one of the 7 deadly sins. Your greed for skill development in one area will be the death of you, right? Because all of this instant gratification and problem solving, and you leave your strength behind. Last time you trained strength, probably 10 years ago. Let me know. Let me know if you did. Like, if you leave it behind, long layoffs. Layoffs will start to happen. I'm going to have the weekend off. All right, I'm going to have this week off. I'm feeling sore, my elbows. I've got tennis and golfer's elbow, but I've never played golf or tennis. It'll catch you out, and if you don't train these joints when you are in full control of the situation, it's only the gym where you are fully in control of all of the variables. When you're skiing, there's always an element of surprise, luck, different ground. When you're mountain biking, there's always a random variable, which makes it insanely exciting, really good for problem solving, really good for the neural net, the processing speed of our brain. So the gym provides us with a very unique, beautiful platform where we are in control of all the variables. It's very peaceful. And it's very, very important because it's the only time you get to truly focus on yourself without any distraction. Now I know a lot of you watching this channel need the distraction, need the excitement, need the risk. I understand. But you will lose everything. You will lose everything if you're not strong. Long layoffs will turn into an early retirement. And you could have avoided it. It's honestly one of the worst things I've ever seen. Some of my best mates, long layoffs, retired. Some of the best lads finished. Martial arts gone. Because they didn't do this. Because they were so hooked. They were addicted. I'm addicted. You're addicted. But now, I'm fucking getting a grip. And my strength is never, never getting left behind. Because I want to be doing this for the rest of my life. Gentlemen, my promise was you will fully understand why endurance training can be one of the biggest contributors to muscular skeletal injuries. My unique perspective on those matters, on my background. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you found it useful. If you did, subscribe to the channel. Plenty more of these on the way. I will see you in the next one.